Hello, hello, hello. Happy Unemployment Thursday. How's everyone doing? Let me know if the stream is where I seem to have a glitch in the middle. Had to adjust it, so let me know. I know Ro was in here first, but now I can't see him. Good morning, Sterling. So let's see. Can I get some feedback in the chat to make sure this is working? Let's see, because we got really low viewership today. So I don't know. All right, I'll keep trying to figure this out. Yeah, Walmart, we had Walmart results. Adjusted EPS 60 cents versus 53. Estimate revenue 161.51. Estimate 159. So Walmart really crushed it. We can look at the next targets for that. Said though the consumer is pulling back in non-essential items. We also have CB with the release of Warren Buffett. How does Warren, like, okay, we're gonna, I get to buy all this stuff because I applied for special permission, like to not reveal it. Special permission with the SEC. I know he's a big investor, but why are there special permissions? Can somebody tell me that? Can we just have one set of rules, like, for everybody? Really? Where do we sit now? Where do we sit? There we go. There we go. Ro Freeland. Good morning. Good morning, Martinez. Let's see. Good morning, Patrick. Good morning, Eric. Where do we sit? All right, everything's working now. Good morning, Jacob. Thank you for that. We're working now. Thank you, John. We had the housing starts coming in weaker than expected. The prior revised lower also. All right, let's just get straight to the numbers and I'll catch up with everything in a bit. Thank you, Sterling, for putting in all the numbers and the news. Speaking of one set of rules, check this out. Biden blocks House from obtaining tapes on classified docs. Of course, you know what? This is why we need like a big reset. A really big reset. Whew. So, good morning, Richard. Good morning, Heinrich. All right, you know, this is President Joe Biden has blocked House committees from getting audio recordings of his interviews with special counsel. Why should that? Why? I mean, I understand why he's blocking them, but come on. Good morning, Royal Palms. Good morning, Daniel. Everything's just going to have to go off the rails. I'm sorry. I don't want things to go off the rails, but this market's absurd. Now, in the short term, hey, trend's still up. Fantastic. Still have a potential topping pattern that might never trigger in place, but we got a great area to know when things could come to an end. Until then, party on. Till then, that's all I got to say. But when things unravel, things can unravel really, really quickly. All right, initial jobless claims coming in at 222K, continuing at 1794K. Nothing shocking there. Really, in this Philly Fed Manufacturing Index coming in at 4.5. Nothing, but what's interesting is Philly Fed prices paid. Now, better than previous, but still 18.7 is really high with collapsing orders. So you have new orders collapsing and prices paid stayed elevated. That's a little thing that there. Also, export prices year over year down 1%. So that's great for other places that receive our export. But look at the imports up 1.1. What else do we have? Building permits down. So what do we have on tap? We have industrial production coming out in just a couple minutes, actually 6 minutes. And we have Barr speaking, Harker speaking, Mester speaking, Bostic speaking. Oh, and then tomorrow we only really have the Consumer Board leading index and rig counts. Oh, and you got to get the of Waller speaking. By the way, look, we get a whole Saturday and Sunday with Fed speak. We can't even get a weekend off from Fed speak. Guess you got to get it all in before the next quiet period. The S&P 500 map, let me just do a quick Walmart up again after their beat. Cisco, yay, Cisco. They released earnings yesterday afternoon. There's your Chubb. Chubb up 7% based off of Warren Buffett buying, has completed his buying. So there we go. Everything else is sort of just mixed. Groups, consumer defensive, and that's because of we got Walmart, Costco, Target, Dollar General, everything falling in that little sector, following Walmart's results. Other than that, let me just refresh this once more. We got things are rather just mixed to flat. Mixed to flat. It's Walmart leading the charge up. Fed Watch still has the cut in September, and then another one possibly in December. Fear and greed, we're still back to nearly the middle of greed mode. And the Schiller PE back up to 30, almost back up to 35. Market is certainly not cheap. I didn't even look at John Deere this morning. Sterling, could you put in John Deere's results if you can look them up? And by the way, after the close, it's just Applied Materials. That's the only thing that worked that I'm noting. And tomorrow is, if I extend this, is really nothing. Nothing going on tomorrow. Again, let's all thank Sterling for putting in all this information and all the news every day. He does this just as a benefit to everybody. So I really appreciate it. Good morning, Legion Legion Reaver. Hello, Charles. Who? Hey, Daniel. If I said hi to you twice, it's one of those mornings. This morning 4 a.m. came way too quickly. Way too quickly. Did you see the news about Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac pushing to have government-backed second home? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Which is gonna okay. We're gonna have the GSEs give out second mortgages so people can tap their home equity. This is all going to end in disaster. So let's encourage people to take out some of that home equity by the government. All right. So when things turn down, because you got to get your equity out because you can't afford anything. But then you'll be underwater. If there's a housing price pullback, what are you going to do? Your first and seconds. Oh, gosh. Oh. May we live in interesting times. All right. Other than that, trend's still up. At this point, going into today now, we're in really significantly overbought territory. Cycles at the top. Weekly still climbing, but remember, we can get some sideways price action. We took out April 1st highs. So, key support right now, the major support is 52.65, roughly. That area, 52.65, 52.70. The minor support going into today is about 53.14, and then we have about 52.95 are the support levels I'm looking at. What else do we have? We have, based off of the high put in today, at this point, if we're going to get a major sell off the front run area, I mean, there might be another minor pattern that forms up here, but if you're waiting for some pullback, that really starts to do damage, it's right around 5,100 on a closing basis. And there is nothing. This is just, if you look going into the open, it's a little tight channel. Tight channel. So, nothing shocking there, but we do have a massive clear path move. So on the minor front, again, we got this little spike low up to the highs. So if I'm looking at, we got about, if on a continued pullback today, major support to me would be 53.12 to about 53.14. That's where I'm really paying attention to if we continue to drop. We could just really have a slight pullback and move sideways, though. We'll see. Thanks for shouting out Sterling. Yes, give Sterling a big round of applause. Thanks for finance my 2025 Forerunner at 2.5. Wow. Yeah, 2. Wow. Just Pavneet, just saw my Futures Edge podcast question. Why did you have retracements from top to trigger point on double top on FAG and not from top to low? I'd have to review it. Pavneet. Just reach out to me via support because I'll take a look, but send me more specifics. I can't do that during the live stream. Dear Beat, thank you. 853 verse 786. Revenue a beat, so it was a beat. Stock down 5%. You know what? Don't ask me to explain anything anymore because I don't get it. Again, a little channel pullback so far today. Here, let's just take a look at the very key levels. The key levels today. Going into the open, it's about 18,665. And then the major is about 18,580 to 18,590. Might get a little bounce off the 4-hour rotation zone, but those are the two key levels I'll be looking at. By the way, for the upside, you're getting some pausing bars right here. We're starting to. But the next major target's up. Let me go back over to the next major targets. The next major targets for the NASDAQ's 18,908 and 54.12 for the S&P. The Dow completed the 87.5 rule. The Dow, if we use your reverse harmonics, 47.20 and 41.82 are those key levels, and using the longer term, the next major level would be 41.5352. Might never get there. Russell, still no reconnection with the 87.5. Come close a little bit. Your key support coming in back at 2100. Next target is 2135, the upside. The VIX, Vol's been crushed back down. No fear in the market. Let's see if the selling volatility continues. Notes, after the return to the 200 and the prior significant breakdown area, just going to keep an eye right here to see to pull back and see if we get any pullback to 109.06. Other than that, nothing, no fantastic setup there. The 10-year yield, I am watching for a potential bottoming setup and a bounce pattern, possibly back to about 4.43, 4.44. That's where I'm keeping a closer eye on the micro yield contract. Dollar index also got down to oversold with cycles at the bottom. Now remember, your very key resistance is 104.55 to 104.60. So that's the area I'll be looking for the bounce, for the good old bouncy bounce. And then we have to set up a stronger bottoming pattern. Crude, we still have on a daily basis a potential double bottom, but needs a daily close above 79.96. I just put 80 in for an alert. Okay, and that would take it actually back potentially above the daily rotation zone, the 200. And the only thing in the way then is the 50. But cycles are back to a daily top. Weekly basis, we're still in a major key support zone and hasn't tackled the 200 week yet. Gold, with the price action yesterday invalidating the pullback double, and this other one's off the table. So now for any pullback, first area is 23.68 for support, then 23.45. Closing back above the 62.5, so the next targets up are 24.07 and then 24.28 in the short term. Now, this is not qualified for a bigger potential double top territory. So there's no bigger area yet to move up a key stop. Copper looking very toppy. Going to watch if we get back to 4.7, 4.75 to 4.77. Just watch for the bounce right in there. We got the yen. Again, only a slight little pullback here. I'm really curious to see if the yen now rebounds up and gets that close back above 157.092. But it's still sitting in the hands mode for me in terms of the yen. We got into the major reversal zone for the euro. So I'd still need a close back above 109.37 before I'd really start watching for higher for longer in the euro. Other than that, my key support now coming in back at 108. So look at the spiders. So these spiders, again, the double's still on the table. The double's still on the table unless we take out 532.30 in the spiders. I'll call it a potential double. So we've really got these markets. They're on super juice. Super juice. But looking to gap up 529.79. The gap fill to yesterday's close would be 529.78, roughly where we're opening right now. So we're opening right there. The magnet prices to the downside are yesterday's open, 525.83, and then all the way back to 523.30 are the two key targets there. Love the birds. Sorry, my window's open and I got birds chirping in the background. The birds are noisy in the morning. If you want, what's with the birds? Well, they're again, the window's open. The window is open, and the birds are lots of wildlife around this place. There was a beautiful owl last night. A really beautiful owl, massive wingspan. Out in hunting mode, desert hunting mode. So, the Qs. What would invalidate the double on the Qs? Above 458.41. We're looking to open at 452.82. Yesterday's close was 452.90, so slightly below yesterday's close. The magnet prices to the downside are really yesterday's open, 448.43. And then on a break below that, if we go into correction mode, because we got cycles pinned to the top and very overbought, you're looking at 445.93. The minor target to the upside is 453.87. Good old Bitcoin went through the not a neckline, but the only thing that gets me continued bullish in the short term is a close above 67.260 roughly. Other than that, we could see a continued correction. Now, what invalidates this trigger double? Now you hear the Smokies barking. The only thing that validates this double is still 68.811. So, what else? What else? We'll get to Walmart and everything else. Tesla. Still, I'm watching for the break below 167.02. NVIDIA, by the way. NVIDIA back up to the 87.5. So in longer terms in NVIDIA, it is in clearly potential top territory. So longer term NVIDIA trailing 756.06. Shorter term targets, if NVIDIA keeps chugging above 975, its magnet is right around 1,000 to 1,012. Walmart, see with the gap up, we have really nice cluster here. 64.50 is the key cluster. Support now is 63.13, roughly where it's going to open pre-market. And then you're at the minor cluster is 64.50, and then you have 67.30. That's where forward harmonics, and I did the harmonics, this is on the weekly, from the low in December to the pausing bar in March, and the longer term from the low last May to this pausing card. That gives a key cluster that's 64.50. Really handy when you're going into uncharted territory for a stock. We have, what else do we have? What am I forgetting? Oh, CB. Again, you're going into uncharted territory. You see here, so I'm going now. The major significant pullback low was from October of 22 to this pausing area, and also back from March of 20. Same anchor point to the upside. What does that give us? The minor price is 271.45. The major cluster, you see here we have a major, if I move this, you can see, look, if I put that, look how it's right on top of each other. 2282, right around 282. And then above that, 303. So that's where, if something continues to go up, those would be key areas that at least be looking to raise stops after hitting. So that's exactly why I use the harmonics. John Deere, again, on stocks, focus. You can fine-tune stuff on the daily, but really focus on the weekly charts from my perspective. You're going to get a lot stronger, longer-term signals. Deere down. Does that qualify for a potential double? Yeah, it does. But I'd be, all right, this is an example. Look at your prior major support base. See your major support base here? Major support base. And don't focus on the wick lows. You're actually focusing on this is the area of significance. And look where that comes in with the 200 week. So if this were to trigger something down, that's the key magnet area I'd be looking at, 360.68. I would not be looking at this 353 area. Birds, dogs, there's no kitty here. No kitty. Kitty would not do well with 4 dogs. Dogs, no, the dogs are not eating the birds. Now, as it gets warmer here, see, now it's only getting down to like it was about 70 degrees when I walked the dogs at 4:30 in the morning. So the coolness is leaving. The morning coolness is leaving, so I'll have to keep the window closed, especially going in June, July, August. The window will be closed. What else is going on? I don't see much else to talk about. Don't think I missed anything. Let's take a look at the shorter term. Oh, now I got birds fighting outside my window. That's probably not a good sign when we got 2 like black crows. Wow, they're going at it. They are not happy with each other. I should have a camera now. I'll have to set up a camera to look out the window so everybody can see what I'm looking at. Going into the open. You're on the S&P about 53.35. Needs to get some traction above 53.35 before I can really start shifting and then continue to hold that as support. Other than that, that's resistance, and I'm more leaning towards, all right, news is out of the way. We got some Fed speak still, but we're in extremely overbought. So I'm at choppy to more so watching for rollover plays. Because again, even above 53.35, look at this major resistance would be 53.40 where I'd be watching for rollover plays. So even if we held here, I'd be looking for, okay, there's some very key tops in here. If we go to a longer chart, you see here, this is the top area. This is the spike up here. So this is a very key area to watch for even major resistance. It's going to take a lot to get through there unless there's something very news driven that comes out. All right. Don't think there's any point to hanging on any longer. So everyone have a wonderful trading day. Sorry for the hiccups getting the live stream going this morning, but I believe that was more of a one-off. With that, I shall talk to everyone tomorrow. Bye for now.